Hey, it's Eric here at Peachtree Classic Cars, and this is kind of a cool truck. This is the oldest truck I've owned in many years, 1945, and this is an old 1945 Army Ford half-ton truck. It's kind of got a little bit of a rat rodish build, and I'm going to show you around it, but we'll start off by telling you it's got a fuel-injected Chevy 350 V8, the 350 turbo automatic transmission. It's got power steering, power disc brakes, ice cold air conditioning, hot heat, all new gauges. I'm going to take it for a drive and show you around the truck. Of course, it just steers perfectly down the road. It's actually on an S10 frame. So it's got the independent suspension in the front. Just rides beautifully. Very, very smooth, very quiet. Inside, it's got a new CD player in it. I don't have any CDs in it, and it needs an antenna for the radio to work, but that's an easy fix. The guy that I got it from, he had a Sirius XM satellite radio hooked up to it, but I told him he could take it out, you know, and we could deal with the radio and CDs. So just steers beautifully, drives really, really nice and easy. Bought this from an elderly gentleman who just had one too many projects, getting ready to move out of state, and just this only room on the trailer for 2 vehicles, and this was the 3rd one. So just absolute dream to drive. Super fun, nice sounding exhaust. All the gauges function like they're supposed to. So the 1945, but somebody's retrofitted a 1930 front end. 1930 coupe. I'm sorry, 1940 coupe. 1940 coupe. And then this was done little rat rod style here. These little scoops for the to make room for the new radiator. Pull this up and over. And actually, there's a secondary here. It's made a secondary out of a little chain. It's all nice and tight in there, but it's there. So good running. Good running little 350. Of course, we like power. We like fuel injection because we don't have to tap the gas. We just touch it and fires right up. So throttle body fuel injection kit. Looks like it's made by Edelbrock, but I'm not positive. That's a pretty common thing for guys to be doing these days, is, you know, take the carburetor off and you put that Edelbrock kit on. It gives you fuel injection. It's a no-brainer. So I'm going to leave this off for now for doing pictures and stuff. Really, really cool truck. And I mean, all the goodies. I didn't want to touch this truck. I didn't even know what I would have wanted to do to it. Part of me said sand it down to bare metal, let it rust up some more. It's not really a rat rod in the sense of, you know, when I go down to rat rod, you know, to the rod run stuff, and I see rat rods, they're you know, they're a hodgepodge of vehicles. We call them Johnny Cash vehicles, right? One piece at a time. And this is really all, you know, all the truck from the cab back. It's got a nice set of rally wheels on it. Tires have great tread. Very pretty. Little Ford center caps on there. Glass is in good shape. Windows roll up and down nicely. And if you really wanted to, the body's straight enough on the truck, you could sand it down and put a nice paint job on it. A couple of little spots where you'd want to do a little body work, of course. You might want to clean that up if you were going to paint it. Do something here. That's actually a custom made 4-core aluminum radiator. Here's a spot cut out and weld a new piece in to clean up a little bit. I just couldn't decide what I would want to do with it. So, like I said, I kind of decided to leave it. I mean, you can see how straight the body is. You could media blast it down and put a paint job on it with a pretty minimal amount, I think, of body work, at least here and there. So in the bed, actually underneath this rubber mat, pretty heavy duty rubber mat here, is just some old barn wood. And I think you could plane it down and install it properly. It has a really cool looking bed. And that's one thing, if it was mine to keep, I would do, is probably go ahead and put a bed in it. Go to the interior, something that's really cool. Just a little custom made, you know, Mexican blanket, denim, a pair of blue jeans donated, little custom blanket, Mexican blanket, door panels there, and that's a blue jean pocket done on both sides. Of course, in that one, you can see, I don't know exactly what that's out of. Probably a newer late model truck. Headliner's in great shape. That light turns on when you open up the doors. And like I said before, you know, stereo hidden in the dash. I wish I could turn it on. It sounds great. The stereo sounds really good. Ice cold air conditioning, hot heat. Turn it on. You can hear the AC kick on. Auxiliary fan switch here in case you go in a parade or anything like that. Underneath the truck, step sides are actually in pretty good shape. Like I said, S10 frame. Get your floor pans down here, cab, bottom of the cab. And it's actually in pretty darn good shape, you know, considering what it is. 1945, man, in the Army. One of the things, so he told me when he was restoring it, he said, I knew it was an Army truck. I found 78 holes in the firewall. And I said, oh goodness, was it in a firefight? You know, was that bullet holes? And he said, no, the way they did it back in the Army is they didn't care. It's even got the spare tire underneath. And it's got the little, you know, rod. You drop the tailgate down and lower it with the rod. He said back in the day in the Army, they didn't care if they were putting an accessory on or doing any modification. They didn't care if there was a hole there. They asked you to put a brand new hole right next to it. So that was just a part of the military way. You know, a couple little spots of rust, but not a big deal. Well, a pretty solid truck. Looking at the floor pan from the back, I mean, good grief. This thing is solid. Beautiful. I mean, there's original cab corners. A couple of tiny little bubbles here. A little Bondo right there. Not crazy, but you know, there's some. But man, you just can't go wrong with a truck like this. It's super cool. It needs absolutely nothing to be enjoyed, just like it is. This truck, the lights work, the turn signals work, the horn works. It's got a really cool sounding horn, actually. Let me push the horn button. Kind of sounds like an old train horn. Where is it? I like that. So anyways, can't go wrong with a truck like this, especially for the money. I mean, jump in it, drive it right now. I mean, honestly, even if you just taped off the I almost did this and I said, I don't want to do anything. I want to let the next guy do what he wants to. But even if you just taped off the step sides and painted them black and left the rest of the truck like it is, actually, if it was me, I might take my DA and sand down, scuff down some of this primer, get down to the colors underneath it, or get down to bare metal and let it rust up a little bit. I think you could spend less than 50 bucks on sanding pads and make a really cool truck out of this thing. A couple cans of even, you know, quality rattle can spray paint for the step ups, or like a bed liner or something. Man, you could have this truck looking super cool. with no more money in it, and you just can't beat the drivetrain, the ride. I mean, this truck will go 80 miles an hour down the freeway like it's nothing. So give us a call at PeachtreeClassicCars.com.